To start off this ABC skate trick challenge, A is for Airwalk, and I knew the moment that I decided to do this challenge, I wanted to start with this trick. It's a classic, I've always wanted to learn it, and I also think it's kind of the perfect beginner first step to eventually learning how to ollie finger flip. But then a while ago when I asked you about beginner tricks that start with the letter A, I absolutely did not expect this to be in the comment section, but it was way more than I thought it would be. I get that the beginner category can be pretty broad in general. It can be a little bit gray as you have day one beginners, but you also have skaters who've been on their boards for a year or more and still think that they're beginners. But I absolutely did not think this trick would be in the comment section because I do not consider this a beginner friendly trick at all. But it's a lot about perspective, right? As I said, it's a broad category. I think it's a difficult trick. I tried this trick last year and I couldn't really come close. It was really tough and I knew that this was going to be a battle if I wanted to learn it. And this time around, 3.5 years into skateboarding now, this was not an easy land for me. Which is why today I'm pretty much going to just review my footage of what I did to land my very first Airwalk. It was not an easy land to me, but this was exactly what I did. And I'll admit up front that I didn't quite get the full front foot extension that I was hoping for, but I'm really stoked on it. I was really happy with the land that I did get. And actually at the moment, I've kind of bruised my thumb and palm from practicing these, so I do think that now is as good a time as ever to move on and to kind of accept this as the first letter in my challenge. Because I'm happy with it, I'm stoked. But if Airwalks are not for you, and you want to join this challenge, there are a few other tricks that I'll put up on the screen here that you might want to try too. And they're going to be different levels. This is a challenge that I hope that anybody can try. And funny enough, I actually didn't watch a single tutorial for Airwalks. I just kind of went into the grass and started giving it a go. All I wanted to do was really just to start getting my feet wet in a way. I just want to start getting familiar with the trick, what I was going to be doing, kind of start desensitizing myself to it. And I do feel like I learned one thing, which is that I think I struggled to jump up and to bring both my feet up because I tried to keep my upper body, I tried to keep my upper body too low in order to catch the board, and I realized that I can actually pop the board up so much higher than I was realizing. So I think that a good powerful pop down to bring the board up is going to help me jump higher and stay in the air longer to do the airwalk, instead of keeping my hand down and my upper body down so low to catch the board. So hopefully I can try this not on the grass pretty soon. A few days later, I went into the basement and just started trying to pop the tail and slap the nose, really. I wanted to grab it, but that was not happening. Once again, this was all about desensitizing myself to what I really wanted to do. So I was really starting with just a pop and a slap in a way. I did try to do the kick out in this session though, and that's actually when it hit me that, oh, this is going to be a difficult trick. Because the moment I tried that, just nothing. Yeah, you can see this, nothing happened. Nothing that you'd want to happen happened. So I knew in this moment, this was gonna be a battle. Which is why I started adding some jumping practice to my sessions. Right here, yeah, I was still trying to grab the nose the best that I could with a regular jump, and then just trying to do this leg kick on the ground, and then again on top of my skateboard, right? Just kind of doing the motion in different ways. It actually wasn't until this fourth session where I really started to think more critically. I started to realize that my leg was actually getting caught in the board, so I needed to work on the pop or my jump timing. You know, something had to give, something was wrong here, so I started popping the board up into my hand and really started trying to be more critical of what I was doing and kind of pay attention more to see if there was anything that I could do to help. It was also the session that I realized this was a lot harder on a smaller board. And it was also the first session that I got my first like solid nose grab. Right at the end, this very last try, I got a really good grab on the nose, and that was motivating. You know, I think it was four sessions in, I got my first solid grab and it's getting a little bit of hope. The next day, I started applying a delayed kick to my jump. Like I said, my foot was kind of getting caught in the board. I was thinking that maybe if I jumped up first and then kicked out, I would reduce the likelihood that my foot got caught in the skateboard. I started to pop the board up into my hand and then kick my leg up afterwards, you know, really trying to just get these motions, these similar ideas into my muscle memory, get my body familiar with these movements. I also started grabbing the nose and pulling forward a little bit because I didn't want to just barely slap the board. I wanted a solid grab, so I would try to grab the nose with my hand and then slightly pull it forward. You have to get a good grip on it after all to do that pull forward, so I figured that if I could do this, then when it came to doing the actual airwalk, I would get a much better grab on the nose. And this was actually the first time I did that. So I guess that you could say in the fourth session, I got a really good grip on the nose, and this time I got a solid grab. I did grab it and was able to tug it forward, though you can't really easily see that in the footage. I felt it, and so I knew that this was good. Finally, to work on that front foot and the grab, I did start doing these little, I don't know, like fast plants, or maybe this is more like a Ranja plant. The plants still confuse me. I find a hard time figuring out which one I'm doing, but I added these to the repertoire of things I could practice, right? Just trying to find similar movements that I could do to work on this trick that wasn't just the trick itself. Then we made it to the day, D-Day, the first land day. Is that what we'll call it? Land day? I started off doing what I had done so far, but I realized one more really important thing, and that was that this board was really popping up super straight, and you can see that here. So it's no surprise that my foot was getting stuck in it when, it doesn't matter how delayed my kick was gonna be, if the board was coming straight up into my foot, there was no way that my foot was gonna clear that to do the airwalk kick. So I started thinking about what I could do to fix this issue. At first I thought that maybe I could just do the little tug and pull the board out to combat this, but then I had an awesome double realization. That one, maybe I should be grabbing the tail, because I think I can stop the board just a tiny bit sooner if I had the tail under my palm and not the flat nose. But more than that, I realized what I needed to do was pop the board up and then use my hand to stop the nose from coming up because I was catching the board way too close to my side. I needed to stop the nose. And if I could do that, the board should also level out a little bit and stay away from my feet so that they can kick freely. And it worked. Somehow, I still focused on trying to get a good grab and a tug away because that helped to remind me, like, keep the nose away from me, you know, push the nose away, keep it away, give my foot that space it needs to move. And it got me to my first couple of close tries, and then finally, with some more effort, I landed my first baby airwalk, which I'm really proud of. There were so many problems too. I kept missing the grab. I missed the grab so often. I missed the pop so often. I accidentally did a ton of shove-its. My front foot kept getting stuck, like I said. I popped the board too upright. I popped it too low. A lot happened in a couple days. I'm also sure that if I had done this off of a ramp or something, off of a curb, off of anything really, any kind of drop, something with more air time, then this probably would have been a lot easier, but you know, I am a flat ground lover at heart, so it had to be done here in a crusty parking lot. But to summarize a few of the main things that helped me, a larger board helped, jumping and then kicking out. This timing was also very useful. Popping down, straight down, and not allowing it to do a bit of a shove it was incredibly important. That also was linked to the timing, because anytime I tried to kick my foot back, I ended up doing a shove it. So, you know, jump straight down, or well, jump straight up, pop straight down. That was helpful. Popping the board backwards a little bit and trying to stop the nose with my front hand. That was incredibly helpful. And then if you want to take that to the next level, then thinking about grabbing the nose and tugging it forward a little bit. For me, this helped me get a lot of control for that grab and also reminded me that I need to keep the nose away from my front feet. But thinking about that, I guess that's also just kind of the style that I was doing it at, because I was doing this as like kind of a bit of a rocket. And I suppose you could do this trick with the board completely vertical if it was out far enough and you could bring it back under you. That might be more easy if you're doing it off of something. But yeah, so you know, as tips always are, they might help you, they might not. You might need to tweak them for your own style or how you want to perform the trick. But those were probably the 5 biggest things that I was conscious of when I finally got that land. I don't know how good this audio is going to be straight out of the camera, but the one other thing that I recommend for the Airwalk is to move your feet really close together on the tail. That lets me give, I think, like the best clearance for my feet. Once again, not to clip on the board when I'm trying to kick my feet up. Hopefully I will be able to work on this trick a little bit more in the future, hopefully a lot more, as you know, I would love to get a really good kick. I would love to turn this into an ollie finger flip, but first I do need to let my hand rest up a little bit, and then hopefully I'll see you with the next trick.